right, welcome to Superfly Paragliding School YouTube. If you've subscribed, then you know that it's been a minute. One of the things that makes this happen is when we get an awesome personality on the other side of the camera. So in this case, I've got world famous Judson, insert link below. Follow him, subscribe, like, the guy's awesome and amazing. But he came around with all sorts of enthusiasm, youthful and otherwise, is enjoying flying the mustaches here in Utah with us, bringing all of his friends, and he brought a level of stoke that made me inspired to get after the YouTube videos. As you may know, these YouTube videos are generally like educational, stuff you can use, stuff that will probably make you safer. When it comes to chasing down information, it's really key that you chase down every single thing you can get for one reason. One single bit of information could save your life. One book might have it. One single thing in the book would make that book worth it. Go visit with an instructor. That instructor might throw you one little scrap that could save your life one day. And that's the spirit of these videos. We're going to try to throw things at you that just might make a difference in your long-term flying. On this particular video, we are talking about our favorite subject, gear. So we've got the paramotors, the reserves, the paragliders. When it comes to the motors, I had this dream. I had this dream that we could have a shop and we could have a place where everybody could try and see every motor. So we wanted to have a showroom where we have a Scout, we'd have a Maverick, we'd have a Power to Fly, we'd have a PAP, and we've had a Mac Fly. We've got all that and we've got more. If you ever come around here, you have an open invitation to come and just try them all back to back. What a great feeling. It's really tough for people to make these strong decisions about what gear they want because there are so many options and there's so much talk about it. The inside scoop is that the joke is kind of on the consumer because people are either buying an Atom 80 or a Moster. And when you do either one, then you end up with the same motor, prop, largely harness, and also throttle on just about every unit. If you're talking titanium units, then it's also insider information that a lot of them are made in the same place. So the joke, as I say, is really on the consumer. All the gear is kind of the same, but there are some differences from frame to frame. There's some differences in like user interface, the way that the the paramotors feel when you pick them up, the way that they move around, and sometimes the way that they feel in the air. So I'll go ahead and just roll through my favorite motors and the favorite things that I have about each single one of them, and I think you might find it interesting. Let's start off with the Scout. Okay, Scout, awesome. I've had a Scout for the longest time and I love it. I can't tell you how many people that I've given some of their first flights on and I've let demo my Scout. People love it and it looks great. There's absolutely no doubt about it. When you buy a Scout, you are getting a membership to a really cool community here in the United States. Canyon, who's handling them, all the guys who fly them, they're really tight and it's a really good group. So if you like the way they look, if you like the general feel of a Scout, if you like carbon fiber, and if you like a strong team, that's a great way to go. I'll leave you with one final thing. There's something magical about a Scout. When you're on the throttle and you're just in cruise, you add and subtract, it has a different feel, a different vibration, and it's a nice one. It's sort of refined. It's kind of straight and smooth. Try a Scout if you ever get the chance. Next would be Parajet Maverick. Okay, so we always keep a Parajet Maverick in an Atom 80 and a Moster around. We train on them a lot for one reason, and that is that when you combine those with something like our Gen Pegasus 3, Chris Holbert, Predator Paramotor in Ohio, turned me on to this combination. He said, everything with those two gliders just works. And as an instructor, that matters, and as a student, that matters too. If you have a chance to get on a Maverick, you will notice that it just works. Like the torque is not a problem, it's easy to adjust, it'll feel good on your back, you'll find an easy time running. That's not true of every single motor. So they've definitely done a great job refining the Maverick, and it's a fine product with a fantastic support. Some people are just taken by the marketing, the website, and no doubt that the folks in the UK, Tom, and then the movement here in the US is big. There's a lot of people flying them, and so Maverick's a great way to go. Moving on to Power to Fly. We bought a Power to Fly by accident. We didn't know that we would like it, but it turned out great. The thing is tough. We got the titanium one, and if you ever look at the weight shift bars and the way they attach to the frame, it's tough. It's like big hardware. It just looks big and it kind of inspires confidence. We had one and we paired it up with a Calibri trike, if I'm not mistaken. It's one of the best looking trikes. Turns out, like if you're trying to sell trikes to people, or if you want to sit in a trike that makes you look kind of good, that's a great one. Nice tough tires and nice low CG. We've had that one around and taught tons of people to trike in it. We love it. We sold that one, and then wouldn't you know it, we got another. So we always keep a Power to Fly around, and they're just nice. Moving on to the PAP. We love PAP. PAP titanium, awesome selling points, tack already built into the shoulder, and airbag under the seat. I personally got myself a little bit banged up one time. Not a big deal. I walked it off, but I would have loved to have some back protection. I think everyone could benefit from some back protection. Pat makes it part of the deal, and that's a great reason to chase down that one. Also, the finish quality on the whole product is just awesome, and the throttle is the most sleek and slender, tiny throttle that you can get. Sometimes we're using those on other motors because it's so nice. Moving right along, we've got MacFly. I have a MacFly trike that I use for my Project Airtime tandems. That's where we fly disabled folks, and it's all titanium. The thing's gorgeous. And we have sold a ton of MacFly over the years. We love, love, love them. The folks in France are some of the best in the world. They win the world championships. Mateo's family, amazing. And we love MacFly. We will say this, if you have a stock MacFly, it probably needs a spacer to get the prop just a little bit further out. If you haven't had it happen yet, it probably will happen. The prop can sometimes contact the cage without a good hefty spacer in there. Small price to pay for such an awesome motor, and we love the MacFly. We've never bent a titanium motor. So titanium, really nice way to go. It's a nice time to be a paramotor student. It's a nice time to be a paramotor pilot in the US. The technology is pretty sweet. Finally, we have a brand called Craft we import from Argentina, and that gives us a price point brand that can help save people $1,000 bucks, $1,500 and sometimes they just like those ones better. We have the Craft Scorpio, and it's just amazing for large people. The weight shift bars can go out as wide as you need to go. So if you're 270, 300, that's one to check out. And then if you're looking for a titanium frame that comes in at a decent price point, then that Craft thing is awesome. And we're gonna move kind of quick because we also want to talk about reserves and gliders. When it comes to reserves for paramotor pilots, the most important thing is that you have one. It's kind of a bonus if you have it in a place on your motor where you can't take it off. Side, under the seat, etc. By the time you put it there, there's not a strong likelihood you'll take it out or forget it. If you have one in the front, sometimes it can happen that you take it off and maybe you do a flight without it, and that could be the day when you really need it. Top handful of reasons to have a reserve for sure. Number one, most paramotors are prototypes, okay? Such a small scale, production run to production run, sometimes they're different. Things break, everything's been known to break. You need to have a plan B. Two, you're always flying with your buddies, and it's gonna be a lonely, bad feeling if your buddy ever crashes into you and you don't have an extra bit of fabric to throw out there. We're always flying close to each other, we're always playing games. We need to have reserves for sure. Three, paraglider is a pendulum. So the possibility for spiral is always there, whether you sign up for it and you're playing with it or whether it sneaks up on you. You can end up in a spiral, and sometimes your first efforts to make it exit don't work. You need a reserve for that. I won't make this a reserve lesson, but I will say, make sure you end up with a reserve on your unit. One of the big objections is that people can't figure out which reserve to get, how to hook it up, and where to put it. We're here to help. We've got tons of reserves, round ones, square ones, triangle ones, you name it, and we can help you sort through it. And we have reserves that go all the way up through the trike sizes, and we have every little step along the way, 130 kilogram, 140, 150, 160. We have light ones, we have compact ones, we have the containers, and we can help you sort through it. We can send you a container that you can just hook onto your carabiners, and you're done. If you have any questions on that or you want to talk reserves, we are here for you. Moving on to gliders. In the paraglider world, okay, from year to year, there are big increases in technology and performance. That's because paragliders hinge on sink rate and glide ratio. Well, guess what about paramotors? Sink rate and glide ratio don't matter. You have the throttle, so you don't even notice when one glider has a better sink rate or glide ratio than the other. Only things you notice are things like launching, speed, handling. Launching, speed, handling, landing. This makes it so that there aren't such grave increases and improvements in technology. Meanwhile, the paramotor community loves buying new gear. So if you go down this rabbit hole of having multiple gliders and you want to sign up for some new technology, just remember that the latest and greatest thing isn't necessarily going to have anything special. It's just going to be different. Find one that suits you, kite it at length. Check out how many steps you have to take to get in the air with it. By the time the years go by, you'll be happy if you have one that takes off easy. Check out how many RPMs you're using to stay in the air. Some of them are more efficient than others. Then check out what it's like when you have to land with the engine off, which happens to all of us, and you have to land in no wind. Make sure you have something that you can land comfortably. So, tearing through equipment super quick. Happy to talk about it at any point. We're at superflyinc.com. We answer the phone every day of the week. We are at your service. In our particular camp, we don't go telling people what they should fly. We're more like lace up the shoe and let you try it on, let you walk around in it sort of place. So wherever you are in the country, if you want to try some technology that we handle, or if you want to talk about any of the other brands, we try to keep one of each of the brands in stock at all times. And that's just for our own perspective so that we can speak knowledgeably about what's available in the market. 801-255-9595, superflyinc.com. And if you're ever in Salt Lake City, Utah, come and join us, fly at the Great Salt Lake with us out in the Utah desert. And then also, if you want to spread your free fly wings, then join us at the point of the mountain. We've got a harness you can borrow. We'll make sure that you have a good time. You can fly off a hill for your first time, and we promise to open your mind.